Students, today's topic is assumptions of small sample tests. There are 5 tests in our syllabus. The first one is the t-test for single mean. The first assumption is the sample is random. That is, the sample observations are independently selected. And this is the t-test for difference of means based on independent samples, right? So the samples are random. You have 2 samples here, so the first assumption is the samples are random. And the first assumption here is this is t-test for difference of means based on dependent samples. It is also called as paired t-test. So here again the first assumption is the samples are random. Fine? Okay. The next assumption, the sample is drawn from normal population. It is with this assumption that we derived the probability density function for t distribution. So the second assumption is the sample is drawn from normal population. And here again the second assumption is the samples are drawn from normal populations. You have 2 samples, so you write the samples are drawn from normal population. And the second assumption in this test again is the samples are drawn from normal populations. Fine? The second assumption is O. The third assumption is the sample size is small. This is for t-test for single mean. The sample size is small. You have 2 samples here. Both the samples should be small samples. Okay? The sample sizes are small. Here again you have 2 samples. Both of them should be small. Only then you can apply this test. The sample sizes are small. Fine. The next assumption is regarding the population variance. Do you remember W.S. Gossett suggested this distribution under 2 main assumptions. One is sample size is small and another one is the population variance is unknown. Okay, so in that case you should replace the population variance by its estimate value, small s or capital S. Okay, so the population variance is unknown is the next assumption. So here you have 2 populations, right? You have taken 2 samples from 2 different populations. You want to check whether the population means are equal. So the population variances are unknown. You have 2 populations. So you say the population variances are unknown, but there is a condition, restriction, and are known to be equal. The population variances are unknown, but they are known to be equal. Okay? See, the population variances are unknown and are known to be equal. Here, coming to paired t-test again, the population variances are unknown. They may or may not be equal. Is fine. For t-test for single mean, the assumptions are over. But for t-test for difference of means, you have two more assumptions. Here, the samples are independent. But in paired t-test, the samples are dependent. Here, the sample sizes may not be equal. It is not necessary that they should be equal, but in dependent samples, the sampling units are the same, right? You collect samples from the same set of items in two different situations. So, the sample sizes are equal. The sample sizes may not be equal. Here, the sample sizes are equal. Fine. So, only these two assumptions are in addition in these two tests. Otherwise, the first 4 points are almost same, right? The assumptions you can easily remember when you clearly follow the derivation of t distribution. But still, I have put it in an easy manner. You can easily remember this way. So these are the assumptions for t-test, right? We have completed 3 tests. Now, F-test for 2 variances and chi-square test for single variance. Here again, the first assumption is the sample is random. It is with this assumption that we derived F distribution, right? The sample is random again for chi-square. Sorry, in F you have 2 samples, right? So you should say samples are random. Fine. Now the second assumption is the samples are drawn from normal populations. Here you say the sample is drawn from normal population. Right? Here you can use this test only when the sample sizes are small. Both the samples should be small samples. The sample sizes are small. Here the assumption is the sample size is small. You have only one sample to test single variance, right? The sample size is small. Fine. We have 5 tests in our syllabus, 5 small sample tests, and these are the assumptions of small sample tests. Thank you.